Hey guys, this is Jeff, and I've shared this story before, but I want to share it again because I feel it's important, all right? This is my story of how I healed my psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. Now, my story begins in 2011, and I had a rash on both elbows and up my back for close to 2.5 years at that time when I went to the doctor because I'd had strep throat. Both my elbows had been hurting for some time, and I really thought it was just from overtraining, but what it was psoriatic arthritis. That day at the doctor saw the rash in my elbows, and she quickly asked me what I was doing to treat that. And at that time and point, I didn't even know what it was. Now, she quickly pointed out that it was psoriasis and asked me if I had any joint pain, which I did. And she was telling me that was psoriatic arthritis. And started writing out a prescription for an autoimmune, basically pharmaceutical. At that point, I told her I wasn't interested in that, and I went home and started doing my own research. After several days of research, I decided I needed to do something about it, and I had found a thing called Leaky gut syndrome, and I started reading everything I could about leaky gut and what the potential was for autoimmune disease. The first thing I found, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't excite me a whole lot because I was a soda-holic, I was a sweet-holic. And the first thing I seen was I needed to cut sugar out of my diet, which meant I had to kill my soda habit and kill my sweet tooth. After reading a little more about psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis and what it was doing to my body, I decided the best thing I could do was basically kill the sweets. So that was step number one. If you have some type of autoimmune problem going on, such as psoriasis or others, the first thing I'd tell you to do is you've got to get rid of the sugar out of your diet. Now, step number two, I had to basically put some food in that was going to help begin to heal my gut. And one of those was a probiotic. And as I read about probiotics, the pill type, I found one of the best ways to get probiotics into your gut is with fermented foods, such as fermented vegetables like sauerkraut or kimchi. That's when I started eating a teaspoon of basically cold sauerkraut or cold kimchi every day. Now, the third thing I did was you gotta give that good bacteria that you're putting in with the sauerkraut a place to live. And one of the best ways is fiber from vegetables, and in particular, sweet potatoes. So at that point, I started trying to get a sweet potato into my diet at least twice a week. One of the final things I did was I started looking at ways to get rid of inflammation, because one of the things that leaky gut causes is inflammation. That's when I found turmeric, and I started basically adding turmeric to my diet on a daily basis. I did all that consistently over the course of 6 to 8 months, and miraculously, guess what happened? My psoriasis went away. Now, one thing I encourage you to do is always be a lifelong learner. And one thing I do is try to read at least once a week about new things on leaky gut. And one of the things I found as I continued doing my research was I found out about pomegranate. Now, pomegranate basically helps the gut bacteria that builds the mucus lining that lines the gut. That is the most important part of this whole thing, because if that mucus lining thins, that's when you wind up with leaky gut. The bigger that mucus lining, the less likely you are to basically encounter leaky gut. So that's when I added about 4 ounces of pomegranate juice 3 to 4 times a week. Now, this is my story. You know, it's more or less, it's a case study on me and what I did for my psoriasis. I'm not saying it will work for everyone, but what I am telling you is this, all right? I believe leaky gut syndrome is a real thing and can cause a lot of damage to your body. So if you're having autoimmune issues, I would tell you, it's probably something worth looking into and worth making some changes to your diet to get it right. One last footnote, the doctor that they told me I would be back for that medication, because basically I wasn't going to get rid of that psoriasis on my own. Guess what? Never went back for the medication. Like I said, I fixed my gut and it fixed my psoriasis. Once again, that's my story. All right? May not be everyone's story, but it's my story.